Ever wonder why a river doesn't flow in a straight line, but rather winds its way through the landscape in graceful bends and turns? Let's take a journey into the heart of nature's engineering and find out what's behind this natural phenomenon. First, let's start by imagining a river. Picture a peaceful river winding through a valley, cutting its way through the land. At first glance, it may seem like the river is just flowing randomly, but there's actually a lot of science behind those curves. These curves are called meanders, and they form because of the way the river interacts with the land around it. So, why do these meanders occur in the first place? The answer lies in the river's flow and the forces acting on the water. Rivers start as small streams, usually high up in the mountains, where they flow fast and steeply. As they move down toward lower ground, they start to slow down and spread out. When water slows down, it can no longer carry the same amount of sediment, and this is where the fun begins. The river starts to deposit sediment in some areas, while in others, it erodes the land. Here's where the curves come into play. Water flowing through the river is not perfectly uniform. In some places, the current is stronger, and in others, it's weaker. When the current is stronger on one side of the river, it causes the bank to erode more quickly. On the opposite side, where the current is slower, sediment starts to build up, creating what we call a point bar. This imbalance between erosion and deposition leads to the river bending and curving in a natural process that continues over time. As the river keeps flowing, these curves become more pronounced. The meanders get larger and more distinct, creating a pattern that can be seen from above. But it's not just the water that causes these curves. The shape and slope of the land play a big role as well. The more uneven the land is, the more likely the river is to meander. If the land is flat, the river might flow more straight, but if there are hills or valleys, the river will be more likely to find its way around them, creating curves in the process. Another important factor in the formation of meanders is the river's velocity. Rivers that flow quickly are more likely to create sharp, tight curves. On the other hand, slower rivers tend to have more gentle, sweeping curves. The combination of the river's speed, the land's shape, and the amount of sediment it carries all contribute to how those curves form and evolve. Over time, these meanders can become so pronounced that they create what's known as an oxbow lake. This happens when a meander becomes so curved that the river eventually cuts off the bend, creating a separate body of water. These oxbow lakes are a fascinating reminder of how rivers are constantly changing the landscape around them. Now, you might be wondering, are all rivers curved? The answer is no. Some rivers do flow relatively straight, especially in places where the land is flat, or where there are few obstacles for the river to navigate. However, even rivers that seem to flow straight are likely to have small meanders or curves that develop over time, just on a much smaller scale. But why is this important? Well, meandering rivers play a key role in shaping the environment around them. The constant process of erosion and deposition creates rich ecosystems, providing habitats for a wide variety of plants and animals. The water carried by rivers also plays a vital role in transporting nutrients to different parts of the landscape, which is essential for maintaining healthy ecosystems. Additionally, the meanders help to slow down the river's flow, reducing the risk of flooding and allowing the water to spread out and replenish the land. Let's take a moment to think about how rivers and their curves are connected to human life. Rivers have been essential to human civilization for thousands of years. They provide water for drinking, agriculture, and transportation. Many cities are built along rivers, relying on them for resources and trade routes. Understanding how rivers curve helps us manage these natural resources more effectively. It allows us to predict where erosion might occur, where to build bridges, and how to maintain healthy ecosystems along the riverbanks. So, in a way, the curves in a river are like nature's signature, a pattern that tells a story of how water shapes the land, how landscapes evolve, and how life is interconnected with the movement of water. It's a beautiful reminder that even the simplest things, like the flow of a river, have a deep and fascinating story behind them. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of meandering rivers. If you've ever had the chance to stand by the bank of a river and watch the water flow in curves, you've witnessed nature's artistry in motion. The way the river bends and sways through the landscape is a testament to the power of water, the forces of erosion and deposition, and the delicate balance between nature's elements. To sum it up, rivers curve because of the way they interact with the land and the forces at play in their flow. Erosion, sediment deposition, the river's velocity, and the shape of the landscape all work together to create those beautiful meanders. These curves are not only fascinating from a scientific standpoint, but also play a crucial role in shaping the environment and sustaining life. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of BrainWise. If you enjoyed learning about why rivers curve, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fun and insightful content. And as always, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep thinking. Until next time, stay curious.